Okay, wow, we have another update regarding Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders, and then we actually have some exciting updates regarding pricing for other games. I'm actually really excited about this news video because a lot of good news, I feel like. But before we get into the main topics of the video, I have to ask, if you guys have not already, make sure to backslash the subscribe button, as we are trying to hit 17,000 subscribers before we head over to New York City next month for the Nintendo Switch 2 launch, which I'll be filming every day, uploading all that. Y'all been loving these videos, so we're gonna continue having them come out as long as there's enough things happening to make a daily upload. So we've been covering the Switch 2 every single day since it's been revealed over at the April presentation. So yeah, and we're also doing a big live stream for the Mario Kart presentation Thursday morning. So y'all get my live reaction to that. I think I'm gonna stream at like 7 a.m. EST, so make sure to come through for that. Without further ado, let's get into our main topics. All right, the big one that has broken the internet today is the Switch 2 pre-order date. Now, there is apparently a credible leaker, and from my understanding, and I could be wrong here, this leaker is mainly known for getting things correct regarding retailers. And this leaker is suggesting that the US pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2 could be very soon. We're gonna call him Bill. Bill is saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders will be available on April 23rd in Canada from the sources that he has with other retailers. He's also talked about that he has heard that the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders could be happening anywhere from April 21st to April 30th. He's also saying that he heard that the accessories are going to be a separate pre-order date, like the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, for example, will be available on April 30th. Now this could mean a lot of things. Obviously the US has a very big gap from April 21st to 30th. That's a big gap right there. However, I feel like it's safe to say that the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders will more than likely happen at the same time as the Canada pre-orders. I believe that was actually the initial plan. April 9th was going to be when Canada was going to be able to have the system available for pre-order. So I would think that if the system was to be having pre-orders on April 23rd, we will be seeing that also be the same thing for the US. The accessories, I guess, kind of makes sense, but I guess that's something we'll have to see. It's been reported that the games and accessories are going to actually be the hardest thing to get for the Switch 2, rather than the system itself. So if that is the case, I guess that would make sense if Nintendo wanted to do two separate events in terms of pre-ordering for this stuff. However, I think a very important key note regarding all of this is the fact that the pre-orders, if this is true, is going to happen next week, which kind of pinpoints to what I have been saying about the Switch 2 pre-order situation. I have always felt that a shadow drop release with these pre-orders is very likely due to the fact they have not been able to go with their initial plan of April 9th. We said it in the last video, Nintendo did very similar things with Amiibos. The Amiibo pre-order situation back in 2015 was absolutely insane. The pre-orders, they would say, yep, pre-orders are coming, and then out of nowhere, they just shadow dropped and no one was expecting it. I think that is what's happening here, especially considering that there is no announcement for something that is supposed to be happening next week. That to me seems the most likely outcome to what is going on. We know that we talked about how there is placeholder dates, or we don't know if it's placeholder dates, but we believe it to be placeholder dates in the last video of Target's website saying April 30th for the Switch. I feel like, you know, I still think the reason why they have April in their placeholder is because they were told the Switch 2 pre-orders were still going to happen in the month of April. And I think now we're seeing it for April 23rd. I think it would be very weird if Canada has the pre-orders happen on a different date than the US when they were both planned to happen at the same time. And they've both been held back because of the tariffs. So to me, whenever these pre-orders happening, they're gonna happen on the same date. And the leaker is saying April 23rd for Canada. To me, it makes sense that we're seeing US pre-orders happen that same time. Keep in mind that if this is true, I'm thinking with the fact that we have no announcement about these pre-orders is it's going to be a shadowed release. So you need to be paying attention online probably every day now at this point. Like I said though, I don't think you're gonna have any issue pre-ordering the system. It really seems like these accessories in games are going to be the issue. And my speculation as to why that's the case is it might be because these games are being produced in China, the accessories also in China, but I don't have 100% confirmation on that. Either way, everyone is reporting that that is going to be the two hardest things to get. So if you're worried about pre-ordering anything, that's what you need to rush to get, especially like the GameCube controller. Oh man, that is going to sell out instantly. We do know that May 8th is the official date for Nintendo's website for pre-orders, but I do think that we're gonna have pre-orders happen before that regarding other retailers, because Nintendo has their big investors meeting on May 8th, and it doesn't make sense to have all that happen before the investors meeting, because I know investors are going to have a lot of questions due to the controversy of this system right now. But that's enough pre-order news. I have some exciting things to talk about with other games coming to the system. We got some split fiction Nintendo Switch 2 news. One of the most exciting things I think is the fact that there is a confirmed physical copy of the game coming, which I wasn't 100% sure because I noticed that split fiction wasn't popping up on retailers' websites, and it definitely seems like an EA thing to not be a physical copy, even though it exists on other consoles as physically. And it is confirmed to be $50. Now, obviously, this might be one of those things that you guys are like, why is that such a big deal, Max? It's the same price as any other console. Obviously, third-party developers have a history of charging third-party games for the Switch way more than what it initially launched at on other consoles. If you look when it comes to Nintendo Switch 1, you will see a history of a bunch of third-party developers charging what people call as Switch tax, which is they're charging more because it was a Switch game. And none of that is happening here. And from what I saw from the box art, it looks like it might not even be a game keycard. However, I strongly feel like that this game is going to be a game keycard, as it's just such an EA thing to do. EA is probably going to have every game that they release on this system be a game keycard, but who knows? If that is all on cartridge, that's going to be really cool. I think that this third-party game is going to be one of the most interesting releases for the Switch 2, as it will be able to show how great this system can be when it comes to power. I know I am very interested in this because I am very curious to see how they're handling certain things with this game when it doesn't have that SSD drive essentially that these consoles and home PCs have, which I know the Switch 2's brand new micro SD card is kind of like the SSD drive for the system. So either way, I'm still curious to see how this is going to work, because it's not even on PS4 and Xbox One, which everyone's talking about the Switch 2 being the same power as that. But if it was the case, don't you think this game would have arrived on those consoles? I am so excited to see this game on Switch 2, and it's exciting that it is a launch title for the system. On top of that, EA has confirmed that it is utilizing the game share option that Nintendo revealed at the April presentation, which, if you guys want to know what that is, it's basically the Nintendo DS local communication thing that you would use to play local multiplayer games with people if they didn't have said game. So we're seeing Split Fiction have this option, which I think is probably one of the coolest things ever. And it's exciting to see third-party developers utilize this feature, because to me, I always thought it was just gonna be Nintendo that honestly did stuff with this. But it really opens the door and shows everybody more than just Nintendo is going to be utilizing it. If EA is doing something with this, who knows what else we could see happen. And Split Fiction is such the perfect game to utilize this game share option. I'm very excited for this Switch port, and Joseph Fares deserves whatever he wants with the masterpiece games that he continues to be making. All right, another exciting thing that has been officially confirmed, as we kind of thought that this would be the case, but there's just been so much confusion regarding the Nintendo Switch 2 and its games and the game key cards and everything going around the system, if Nintendo was going to do this at all. But Nintendo has made a statement confirming that all of their first party releases, including Nintendo Switch 2 edition games, that they have coming out will all be on the cartridge. This is super exciting to see, just due to the fact that there's been so much confusion, especially with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition games, as descriptions that Nintendo even came out with kind of made it sound that the Switch 2 edition games was just the Switch 1 cartridge with a download code of the Switch 2 upgrade essentially. But we now know that Nintendo has said that all of their releases will be on cartridge. They said that this option will be for, third-party developers if they want to do things with the game key cards, that type of stuff. So the way I see it is it's a win-win for everyone now. We don't have to worry about the first-party releases when it comes to being on cartridge. I know there was so much hate over the game key cards, which is very understandable. But I still stay true to my word on this. I don't think third-party developers, I can't say all of them, but I think a majority of them will be utilizing the cartridges, where the game key cards will be things like Capcom, EA, maybe Konami. It'll be some of those developers that utilize that. I think the best way to really tell who's going to utilize game key cards is look at your current Switch 1 lineup of your third-party games and look at how many developers had the download required box at the bottom of the physical copy. That will be able to tell you what developers you should be expecting to utilize game key cards or putting everything on the cartridge. The way I see it also is it does get rid of those horrible download-only code physical games, which I guess essentially this is still a download code, but just in the form of a cartridge. But I think that's better than selling a box with literally nothing in it. I'm glad that's staying with the Switch 1 and not coming with the Switch 2, if you get my drift there. Either way, I think this is exciting and good to see that the Switch 1, or at least really the first party Switch games, is going to be something we don't have to worry about, which I think would be the main concern, in my opinion at least, when it comes to game key cards, because I know I didn't want the next Mario game being on a game key card, but the good news is, all in cartridge. I thought this was pretty funny because I know when this commercial came out, a lot of people made the comparisons and the joke, but it was just people being funny. I don't think people actually thought this, but H&R Block, yes, the bank. I know it's weird that we're talking about a bank right now on the Nintendo Switch channel, but on their commercial, they actually referenced Wario. They had in their commercial this woman dressed up with an outfit that very much looked like something Wario would be wearing, as it was Wario colors. And H&R Block has actually confirmed that yes, that was actually supposed to be a reference to Wario. It was supposed to be a little Easter egg, and I don't think H&R Block was expecting it to be found so quick, but yeah, it was found. All right, this one, honestly, I don't think any of y'all are going to care about this, but I am super pumped, and it gives me the opportunity to talk about this because this will probably be the one and only time I get to talk about Christmas ornaments. But it has been revealed of all the gaming ornaments that will be happening this year, and a lot of Nintendo ornaments is happening. First up, they have a power star that you can put on top of the Christmas tree. That is actually pretty cool. I'm surprised that Hallmark is making this, just because a lot of the times that I've seen when it comes to Christmas, like the top of a Christmas tree stuff, they do very select things from what I have seen. So the fact that they chose Nintendo this year, I think, is really cool. They also chose the Mario power-up ornament this year to be the Elephant Mario, which I wasn't expecting to see an ornament of that so soon, but that's really cool and just so fitting right now. And then the Mario Kart ornament for this year will be Peach in a cart. I think it's really cool how they are continuing to do Mario Kart ornaments every year, and I'm curious to see what influence for next year's ornaments will be when we have Mario Kart World coming out with all these costumes and different characters. This is going to give Hallmark infinite ideas. They're also doing a Master Sword that's the same sword from Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like slowly decaying, so that's kind of cool. And then the Animal Crossing one is Timmy and Tommy, which I think is really cool. And then there's 3 Pokemon ones coming out this year. There's a Pikachu one, which a Pikachu Hallmark ornament already exists, so I don't know why they're doing another one. They got a Jigglypuff one, which I'm excited about, and a Venusaur one, which I'm really, really excited about because I have the Blastoise and Charizard ornaments. So it's so cool that they got the 3 starter final evolutions right there. That is so cool, and so glad that they're doing that. And then they have like Minecraft movie ones and then a few Minecraft stuff. You guys don't care about that. But Supersonic is having an ornament. I think that's really cool because there's actually a lot of Sonic ornaments that have been a thing with Hallmark over the last few years. I'm very surprised, but they've done a lot with Sonic. So the Supersonic is going to go really good with my ornaments. Guys, that is everything I got for you. Let me know what you guys are thinking. When do you think the Switch 2 is going to be available for pre-order? Me personally, I'm thinking April 23rd makes sense. I'm still sticking to my gut on this. It is going to be a shadow drop release. The only thing you're going to see Nintendo say is maybe they'll give you a day notice, or maybe they're just going to randomly tweet, hey, the Switch 2 is available for pre-order right now. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, what you think is happening with that situation. And you know what? We're going to throw a little question of the day. Although I don't think many of you are going to participate in this, but we'll see. What Hallmark Christmas ornament would you like to see when it comes to video games? It can be Nintendo, Xbox, all that type of stuff. You know, Xbox does have a few ornaments also, but we're a Nintendo channel. We don't care about that mess. But you can leave us in the comments down below any gaming ornament you would like to see. Guys, make sure to backslash that subscribe button, like the video, check out the Twitter, check out the Instagram, the Discord, all that good stuff. Become a Monado Marine, $5 a month. Helps out the channel tremendously, as all the money that we're making for YouTube this month is going straight into our New York City trip that is happening next month. And like I said, we're filming the Switch 2 line. We're going to be uploading every day from the line. It's going to be so exciting. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.